Mark, what's up?
What is up, my brother Britt? How are you?
Good. I feel like we're gonna have this friendship now, man. The guy I saw at Santa
Uh-huh.
Monica Civic years ago, February '89. First time I saw you play.
Yes, many moons ago in a galaxy far, far away.
But that's not the only time I saw you. I think last year at the Whiskey, and it's still just as rocking, if not more. Blew my
Oh,
mind.
thank you, brother. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're out there pushing, man. We're out there doing our thing, and loud and proud, and we've been having a blast. It's been really amazing. Myself, Ira, Brad, and Fred have just been tearing it up all this last year, and just a lot of. It's a very humbling thing musically to have such amazing cats in the band. Real cats, and we
Yeah.
have such a great time together. That's the most important thing, I think, is that we're able to find levity even in the hardest situations.
Well, guys like you, I call you electricity conductors. There's one thing to have good songs, but when I go in a room, like we had friends fly out from Boston just to go to the BulletBoys show,
Right.
and you conduct an electricity in the room. That's a masterful act. There's one thing to record, but to conduct electricity like a Springsteen, like just
Yes.
like a Roth, someone that takes the electricity of the band and the songs and manifests it and shoots it out to people. Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
you do.
thank you, brother. Thank you. I believe that it's called we're making magic, and we
Yes,
can make magic. And I'm a true performer.
you are.
Um, I'm not a watch looker or a boot looker. I'm out there killing myself out there every night, Brett. I promise you. I wouldn't let anybody come to a Bullet Boys show if I wasn't giving it my all every single night. I don't know how to do it any other way. I was taught that way when I was very young, so it can that continues as far as performing and bringing a show and bringing the electricity, um, being able to take my friends, my fans, and my family, which I all lump into one when we're performing, and to make them maybe forget about some of their troubles or things that are going on in their life just for that hour and a half or how long we're playing. That's the joy of it all. Is being able to put smiles on people's faces and make them feel just amazing. That's
Yeah,
what
because
we're here for.
it's Flea said once that his job, he gets on his knees before every Chili Pepper show and prays that he can lift the people higher than they were when they walked in that door. And you
That
do,
is that is gospel. Absolutely. I
you know,
totally agree. I concur for sure.
because some people bum you out. You go, why did I come out? Oh man, this is just not happening. The spirit is gone. But when you walk in your show now, the spirit is there and it's evolved. It's great.
That is so iconic. That's like iconic line from Flea, and it's so true. I don't know how to do it any other way. I wouldn't do it any other way. I really believe that you really got to, be out there and sacrifice yourself. I shouldn't say sacrifice. That's a
No,
bad
no, no,
word.
no. Kim
But
Fowley trained me, and he said you need to get on a. People want you on a cross to die for this shit. You better be real.
yes,
You better get on that rock and roll cross. I'm going to nail you to it.
that's the only thing that is, I wouldn't do it any other way. I really put myself out there. Even, I'm a bit older now, but I still feel that I can perform the same way. I'm very blessed that my voice hasn't really changed that much at all. I'm able to still perform those songs and sing in the upper registers and do whatever. But now I just even want to perform even more so and put it out there for the people that come, because I say it every night, Britt, and I do mean this sincerely. And I know the fans of the Bullet Boys and at our shows hear me say this, and I am not on stage for me. I'm on stage for you.
I
So I'm
believe it.
not on stage. I'm not doing this to be on stage for me. I'm here for you. I'm here to bring the party and bright light and uplifting feeling to what we're doing. And I thank God that I'm able to still do what I do.
I mean, you got to turn a Tuesday night in Omaha into Saturday night in Omaha. That's your job, and you do it. Everybody walks out of your shows thrilled.
Britt, it don't even matter what day of the week we play. Every time the Bullet Boys play, it's Saturday night, baby. For
That's
real,
it.
for real.
And
Yep.
who was your original who made you, who hit you, what was your gateway drug to performing this way and just making it happen, knowing what it had to be?
Oh my gosh. I think it's all of our predecessors, Britt, all the greats, James Brown, David Bowie, um, uh, the amazing and spectacular Tina Turner,
Yeah,
um, Prince, Michael Jackson,
yeah.
David Lee Roth, Mick Jagger, Iggy Pop. You know, I could go on and on. And Freddie Mercury, oh my God, please let me not forget that.
Yeah.
But it's the people when we were young that I saw that helped me mold to do what I do. Um, I know you. I know that we were speaking on the phone. We had such a great conversation on the phone. So thank you for having that
Oh
conversation
yeah.
with me. It was just amazing. And I was chatting with you about my backgrounds. You know, I kind of I have such a diverse background that I can't believe that I wound up in a rock and roll band like the Bullet Boys because you know I came from a very R&B, jazz, punk rock, hard rock, classical bass in my listening when I was a kid. Um, my father was a jazz trombonist. My mother's a singer, classical singer. So I grew up in a musical family. So it's just like this. I'm just not this rock metal dude. You know, I've never ever been that. I've more diverse musically as far as what I listen to, and I always have. But you know, we found a niche with the Bullet Boys. You know, you have the original guys. You know, we're all four different individuals completely,
Yeah.
but you know, we found lightning in a bottle when the four of us got together to create that first record and the second record and the third record. But you know, it's just yeah. If you really feel that, to me, if you can still perform and get out there and do your thing, by all means get out there because we got to. You know, we're on a campaign out here, all of us musicians, to keep rock and roll alive and keep it going.
Yeah, but you're very special in that on a Bowie level, you're able to shift, move forward, and keep your past. That's a big magic trick. He was able to do it.
Yes.
Sometimes he lost the plot. I remember leaving in his industrial phase. I was sitting some at the
Yeah.
wharf. You know, it was a little too much. You know, not enough.
Right.
But you've
Right.
been able, from looks to everything, to make those artistic shifts. And I don't feel like we've lost you, but I also don't feel like we're just stuck in a time capsule. Like,
Oh, thank you.
I missed back in the day. You're moving forward. Like you could open for Bruno
Right.
Mars, or you could play with GNR. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely. As musicians, we should be able to do that. We should be chameleons. You know, Brit, back when we were really young, you know, we always saw our heroes. They were able to reinvent themselves. And for me, I've reinvented myself. You know, everybody goes, "Where's the blonde hair? Where's this?" It's like, no, I went back to my natural. You know, I actually have grown out my hair because fans were like, "Can you please grow out your hair, or your hair is too short?" It's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So, you know, I just try to keep it real. You have to be able to have an ascension in the way that you approach your live show and music. I don't get stuck in the rut of trying to be a late 80s rock and roll band.
No.
Like we were chatting on the phone, you know, my background is very diverse, but I've been very lucky and blessed to be hanging around in a different tribe of musicians for these years. And the people that I do have relationships with are not your normal 80s rock and roll musician. So I have a lot of comfort in that um, that the people that I do hang out with, I would never have thought that they would be such huge Bullet Boys fans. And I've been so humbly blessed that our music, the Bullet Boys music, has touched so many people in great ways, and also in the diversity of different uh, different nationalities, faiths, races that just love the Bullet Boys. It's just, you know, it's really amazing that that music is still, I can still get up there and sing Smooth Up, and it's just like yesterday
Yes.
when we wrote it, when I wrote it. So it's just like um, it's still fun. It's still fun for me, and especially the new records that we released this past couple of years. And you just always gotta keep on growing as a musician. I don't know. I'm always one of those big giant sea sponges trying to soak up knowledge and soak up.
Yeah.
I'm still always studying my instrument and trying to find different ways to create magic. So
There was I was at practice last night, and it reminded me of Colin Hay, because Colin Hay's music now is way better than his music at Men at Work, and I like Men at Work, but he's
yes.
insane now. He's one of like better than Springsteen. But they show me the song Symphony, and like this is right, just as good as Smooth Up in You. It's an awesome
Thank you.
song. I hope I have the title right, but like,
Yes, thank you
dude,
so
there's
much.
been a whole run that people just need to know about, of just songs and music putting out.
I greatly appreciate that, because I've worked so hard on writing these albums, and even though they've been released in the past, they're there's people that are just gravitating to them now, and it's just like, wow, it's like I get these messages or DMs or what have you, and people are going, oh my gosh. And Symphony has just touched people's hearts, and it's like so overwhelming that when people come up and tell me that that this song has moved them and it's helped them find strength in themselves, and and to like, it's very uplifting, like it's one of those songs like that, or a movie that has a great an uplifting ending. So that song is definitely something that I love to play constantly, that we play at every show, and it's just magic. It just has something that, even there's times when I first sing the first the first lyric or the first verse, everyone has a tragedy, oh, a stolen broken heart. If I'm in not the most like happiest mood, or if I'm sad or something, man, I could really, it gets emotional for me, um singing that song, even though the words to me, because what I wrote it about, it still affects me. So yeah, thank you
And
for saying
you're
that.
in it. That's what, when you go to
I'm
your show.
sorry to be so wordy.
No, but you're in it. You're in the music. You know what I mean by in it. Like when you, like I said,
Yes,
Springsteen, that's why I love him, because he's in it. No matter whether he's in New York City or the Dakotas, he's in it, and you are immersed and in every note you play. No bullshit notes with you. Old,
absolutely. I consider myself a true songwriter. Uh, I'm not the greatest. I think you can never be the greatest songwriter, but there's times when you just know that you have something really, really special. And I work really hard at it. Right now, I'm working on a double album for the BulletBoys. We have about 38 to 40 songs that we've been working on. And when it comes down to like, I had like a writer's block for a couple months. I just couldn't write anything. I poetry, nothing. And I'm like, you start getting a little concerned. You're like, oh, you know, wait a minute, what happened? What did I lose something?
well,
And then
Leonard
all of a
Cohen said
sudden,
it's like being a Catholic nun writing songs. You're married to a mystery. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
absolutely. You never know. I mean, it's like I'll be sitting somewhere, I mean, in my house or whatever, what have you, and then 3:30 in the morning, it comes, and you're like, my pad of paper, it's going, pen, boom, 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 So it's I think music today, switching gears for a second, I don't know,
Yeah,
Brent,
we're here to switch gear. We're having fun, man.
if you'll agree with me or not, but I grew up, I know I'm older, but we grew up with music that was uplifting, and really, how would you say it? It would just, you know, it make you feel like you could go up to a mountain and push the mountain and say, mountain, fall down, and it would fall down. You know what I'm saying?
Even the poor dudes like Jim Morrison, Light My Fire. We can get,
Yes,
you know what I mean? And I feel
yes,
good,
yes,
like
yes.
I knew I could. You know what I mean? These dudes were dark dudes. They were
Yeah,
lifting.
I'm missing the uplifting, like, like, I don't know, like when you heard a Van Halen song, man, in summer, and you just think, wow, damn, beautiful, beautiful gals, fire pits, the beach, mountain, whatever rocks your world, but something that's uplifting, that it's fun. Everything is just, and I hate to use the word fun, but something that just kind of cracks a smile on your face, and you go
Yeah.
like, oh, that's just dope. That's just rad. Okay, I get this.
Well,
They're
I
not trying to,
DJ, and
they're
when I
not
play
trying to,
a song, I
they're
go,
not trying to be so hard and so,
yeah.
dark, and it's just, I don't know, man. I'm in the light, man. I'm not about the darkness. Not about it.
When I DJ, I have folders, and I'll put the newer songs in the same folder, because I know they're going to go away. And like the new Drake song, no one's going to, Jimmy Cook's not going to ask me about for in 15 years. But Pharrell, Happy,
Oh, yeah.
Justin Timberlake, I Got This Feeling, Bruno Mars,
Woo!
That's in the
Hey,
forever file. That's right next to Don't Stop Believing. That's right next to,
yes,
Donna Summer. That's the forever file.
give me a great hook, right, Britt? Give me
Yeah.
a give me a hook, something that I can sing. Like uh, I love the band Switchfoot.
Okay.
You're
Yeah.
familiar with Switchfoot, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Evidently, they're supposedly a Christian-based rock band.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned about any of that, but their music moves me.
Totally.
When I'm hearing "Dare you to move, dare you to move," na 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 na, that kind of stuff. It's just in the passion that he's singing with. I miss that from artists from my genre.
Yeah.
I'm doing on this record. You're going to be getting some stuff, hopefully in Spanish. Um, I come from a diverse background, so I grew up in Montebello and grew up in the inner city, and I'm trying to facilitate writing something that when you listen to it, you go, "Damn, that's fucking L.A., man. That's fucking L.A., dude. Listen to
Oh, do you
this. It
remember
sounds
Los
like
Lobos?
L.A."
They felt like LA. That was a version of LA.
Chili Peppers. Every time you hear the Peppers, you go, "That's L.A." And when you hear the Bullet Boys, you go, "That's L.A." So or Guns N' Roses from the past, you go, "Oh shit, that's LA."
Well,
You
all
know,
shows
so
I've been there in LA, and it all, it's some, and even they have a Latino audience because I think the Latino part of LA recognizes the Chili Peppers, recognizes Guns N' Roses,
yes,
recognize even Metallica. They recognize those bands and they cross over. Where like, yeah, you don't see that Latino. I think Latinos with their music just really fucking get what's good.
the Latino people in Los Angeles have the biggest hearts that you can imagine, and they are moved by music.
And
Um,
food and
you know,
cars. In fact, it's so passionate.
oh yeah, it's extremely. And what's so great? I was when I chatting to you, and people are gonna go, "What did you guys talk about over the phone, honey?" It's like, no, hold on. No, but it's like I moved back home to be closer to my mother and my family after my father passed away, and you know it is such a great experience to move back in like to the hood and for as an artist because you really get to see the real. Like I cruise on Sundays. I'll go down to Whittier Boulevard in at Montebello Park, and you see all these beautiful custom cars, and fellas, they're all dressed up, and they got their look, and their girls look all beautiful, and they're all dusted and looking shiny, and rad, and that moves me, man.
I
That
get it. I get it. And I
you
get
know
like I see rockers make fun of Bad Bunny, and then I look at him in Puerto Rico on a gas station for the people go, that's the new rock god. That guy's a rock.
you there's a I completely agree with you, man. Because I think that like when we were way back when we were signed with Warner's and came out, it was a different thing. We didn't get a chance to be up close and personal with our audiences and the people, and maybe it was just the time or what have you. But I am so about that always. I mean, the line that's up, outside the building when we play or whatever, I make sure to go on and say hello to everybody, hug everybody, chat with people about just different things, to the point where it's like, oh shit, I got to go get ready. But you got to be, I don't know, there's, and I do see artists out there and I don't understand it, Britt. I was seeing something today um, and I won't mention the site that I saw it on, but there's this beautiful individual that just really berates his fans. Like I don't get it. Like it doesn't matter when people come at you with stuff. I don't know. I was always taught to never be disparaging to your fans. They're your family. They're your friends. It's to some people that I see when they do that, it just I don't understand it. So
Yeah.
me, I like to cultivate my fans and family and friends and make them feel like like my band has always been very I hate I don't want to get this out of I don't want to speak out of turn, but or say that we're
No.
like musically, but we had a very Leonard Skinner approach to our band, which was very barbecues, listening to vinyl, hanging out with our friends, cooking food. That's what I get up on. That's That's what I'm about. Just, normalcy,
I totally get it. Yeah, that's just that feeling of friends, and it emanates through the music.
Yes, man. It's got to be like that right now. We got locked down for 2.5 years, man. And now it's time to roar like lions and really believe in ourselves and all of us and what we're doing here right now. It's there to me when people start speaking of diversity and that people are this and that and the other. Like I was telling you the other day, when people try to pull me into politics, this is what I tell people. My politics are very simple. My politics are rock and fucking roll.
100%.
Simple.
Yeah,
That's it.
it's the best.
That's what I'm here to do on this planet. That's what God gave me, this gift, and that's what I'm here to do, is to bring rock and roll and music to people, and like I said, try to do something that's positive and that's uplifting.
Yeah. So we were talking. I agree that we were talking about the culture and the food and the family and friends.
Yes.
When I first got here, I came from New Jersey. It was like another planet, all the food and everything.
Oh my gosh, right?
El
Woo!
Compadre blew my mind. What do you think, El?
Woo! Yes, sir.
What are LA's little gems, right?
Yeah, absolutely. For real.
Really,
Oh yeah, yeah, it's great. There's so many great uh there's great Thai food here, Chinese food, uh amazing soul food here. And people don't realize the diversity in the food that's here in LA either too. It's in every Mexican restaurant or taco trucks or what have you. They all have their own little recipe, have their own salsas. And it's cool to just go out and go to different places.
Oh, and don't you remember when we were growing up playing, like going to Canners or Maselli's across the street? There was a whole after everything closed, who you saw and what, whether it was Denny's or Canners or Maselli's,
Yes,
Damiano's. That was a part.
totally.
That was a part
Yes.
of
Oh,
the
that's so
thing,
rad.
man.
Yeah.
You
No, I
know,
do remember that. Definitely. Yeah.
that's what it is. Damiano's now a sneaker store. You know what I mean? You're like, that's
Yeah, dude.
good.
I know, man. I know. Sometimes change isn't always that good.
End up with two in the back of two girls' cars. You're not even trying to sleep with them. They're playing their Beastie Boys music, whatever they're listening to. Gene Loves Jet, and you're just listening to
Yeah,
it all on your way to Damiano's, and that was part of the equation.
totally.
You know,
Yeah, no, I know. There's not that. I wish that there'd be a scene, again, like of musicians that was so rad, like that I came from and y'all came from. It's like there's not that. I wish somebody would start us. And people try to do it every once in a while. But there are some great LA bands that are uh, coming up the raceway. They sound really good. There's some really great bands that I've
everything, but
actually gone to.
I don't think ever again, and it's fine. Culture moves. Rock and roll was everything when we were up there. It was.
Oh yeah,
You went to Melrose. It was. There's nothing that's everything. Now you're kind of in anime and the kids into music.
yeah,
And that's
yeah.
cool. Maybe it's better. Or I don't know. We wouldn't just, but it was everything.
Oh yeah, everything. The music scene was everything out here. In some ways it is, in some ways it isn't. It just it's all over the place now in LA. There's all a lot of different new places are opening up. But like me, Britt, I like to go to the small punk rock places and here's really good punk rock bands or something that's new, alternative band or something. I love a lot of hip hop music, but mostly I love a lot of R&B music. So
Yeah, yeah. Do you like Leon Bridges? You ever listen to
oh,
Leon Bridges?
great,
I
amazing.
mean, when you sang R&B over the phone. I wish I'd record. I couldn't because people pretend as we. Oh, I'm not. I'm more. But like, I called my friend Jeff from Pumpkins. It was like, dude, he
Yeah.
sang it. It's like every note was dead on, and so much. I mean, people pretend, but you are that man.
No, thank you, brother. Well, I'm very blessed. I'm very fortunate. When I was young, I was signed with Motown, the greatest label to me ever that's ever been ever of any labels. I was very fortunate to be signed with them. When at a young age, I was in a project called Cagney and the Dirty Rats that Benny Medina and Kerry Ashby Gordy Jr. signed me to. A production company when they first started. And of
So
course,
in
now
your Motown, Jeff was actually asking me, were you more playing guitar in your Motown band, or were you singing in
yeah,
the?
I was singing. I was doing both. I was playing guitar and singing, but there was a lead singer too. But I'd sing. I would sing the more R&B ish type of stuff that was going on. He was more of like a rock and roll singer.
Okay.
So, but yeah, if you go There's a song, if you go check it out, there's a song called Emotions on the Cagney and the Dirty Rats record. And I still get hit up on all the time. They go, oh my gosh, why didn't you guys release that song? But it was one of the scariest times too, before I did get signed to the label, because I had to go audition. And when I went to go audition, I sang this song, Emotions. So I learned the song and came into Hitsville, that used to be Hitsville Studios, which used to be on Santa Monica Boulevard. I don't know if you remember that, but Hitsville was it's a beautiful studio. It was right, next to a park, and it was the LA version of Hitsville. So I had to go in there and sing the song in front of Benny and Carrie and the people from some people from Motown, and they were going to give it to Berry Gordy. And Kerry Gordy is Berry Gordy's son. So here's all this. I'm coming in to sing this song, and I'm scared to death. I got to tell you, Brett, no lie. So they have one mic sitting in the studio, nothing else there, and that's it, one mic. So I go in, they go, "You ready to sing the song?" And I was, right when I walked in, I was like, "Yeah." They go, "Okay, let's go." Motown don't mess around, bro. You're either ready or you're not ready, and that taught me a lot. So I went in there, blasted out the song, sang it a couple times, came in, and they were just like, I can't believe that you can sing like this. You don't look like you have that voice in you. You're just this rock guy." So it's like, no, this is my background and blah 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 blah. So it's very fortunate and very blessed that the first label that I was signed to was Motown Records, and I will always be a part of the Motown family.
And that bleeds into all your music. Well, your voice is insane. When did you discover that you had a voice? What age, and what'd you do to develop this
Uh,
monster?
the Lord gave me my voice, man. I didn't learn how to do this. It was given to me by God. I'm very blessed that I can sing like this. I would always freak out my mother and father because they couldn't believe, like, when I was so young, whatever, 5, 6, singing already. Just I was telling a friend of mine. They go, when's the youngest you've been in the studio?" I go, "I was in the studio when I was 7 years old." So behind a mic. And my family, of course, my mother and father were very, music family, stage family, old school, Hollywood families, pushing the kids to, being, if you're going to be in the music business, you better be really good. I mean, really good. It better be better than anybody else, right? So that's how I grew up with things. And I always leaned to Motown and R&B, even when I was a little, very, very young. I would play Stevie Wonder records, vinyl, like I couldn't stop playing them. So like when people always ask me, well, who is the really first person that you listen to? It's kind of weird. I would listen to Stevie Wonder, uh, John Fogerty, Creedence Clearwater, like, so there you go right away. So there's Stevie, and then there's rock. So right away it was that, from the get go. And but I've never been a rock singer. I've always thought of myself as like a hard R&B singer,
I
you know.
told you that's what made it
So
beautiful.
with with abilities to morph into different things doing different things with my voice, and not always particularly sticking with that.
Well, there's the warmth. The guys like you, Axel Roth, that had that warmth around that voice that was larger than rock to me, that kept up with other
Oh, thank
dimensions.
you. Yeah, I don't know. I just, Britt, um, I'm really close with Stephen Piercy. Shout out to Stephen. I love him uh, forever. We've been chatting a lot about some things that we were planning on doing together, and he brought me up on stage in Calabasas at the Canyon Club last weekend. And he brings me out, and the crowd, the crowd's going crazy, and I come out, and we're singing the song, "Yeah, You Think You're Tough." And I get on the mic and start singing. He tells me after, he goes, "Man, you start singing," and he goes, "and your voice just fills a room, dude. Whoa."
Well, two things that have to do with that. One is Piercy. You know what I love when he does his little videos where he's just probably fucking buzz playing some guitar. I
Oh, I
love
love that.
I love that.
Yes.
It's a style that's him. It's like it's Aerosmith meets UFO, but you go, he plays guitar like him. That's the fucking
Dude,
thing. That's the
he's a,
thing.
he's an outrageous guitar player, and I always just always
Right.
tell him, dude, you gotta bust the axe out of stage. It's like, dude, oh, come on. It's like, no, bro, you're an incredible guitar player. You have been for all these years. Bust it out, man.
Love it.
Three
I love
guitars
it.
on rad, Skinner style.
Yeah. Oh God. But every singer in LA, including Axel, we've all heard we had to turn this down to get there's a lot of trickery. And I bet in every student, everybody to get him to sing in pitch and key, unless you're like a Jeff Tate. But I hear you on the phone. It must have been a dream for these guys to not have to work with
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm blessed to be born with pretty much perfect pitch.
that's what
Um,
it's just insane.
you know, and it's like, what's I saying? Standing in the shadows of love, waiting for that heartache to come. Standing in the shadows of love. That kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
What it's insane. I remember being in the studio.
That's like church, and I sang in church, so you know.
Insane. I remember being in the studio with Bill Kennedy and Garth came in and he was just talking about just who did Rage Against the Machine, who basically invented the next decade. Just how insane.
Are you talking about Garth Richardson?
Yes, he would come in on.
I love Garth. Oh, please, let's talk about Garth. I was just talking about.
I mean, it was back
then. I love Garth. Oh, big love for Garth.
Right? I mean, you had a master behind you. That Garth was. He came in on your bass is out of tune, and like that's a high level to operate with a guy like that with your voice.
Oh, bro, he's one of the. We were supposed to do our first record with Garth. Okay,
yeah,
he's the guy.
He's
the guy that did our demo, Britt, that got us our deal with Warner Brothers.
And surviving a guy like that and to get compliments. I mean, me and nobody here is going to know what that guy genius. We talk not to use it. He's a genius. Man, Bob Seger albums, just fucking raving about you in the studio.
All I have to say is kisses to Garth. So many kisses and hugs to him. I have to thank him for basically creating something with us that changed our careers. I remember that he called me because like he really wanted to do the first record. I hate talking about this, but we all did too. And then all of a sudden, Ted Templeman comes in.
Which was just the way then every carpet got pulled.
Because Ted was like our main dream first pick, Oh, we got to get Ted Templeman. Yes, that's what we're gonna, and we're like manifesting really hard back then, right? And then so Garth did our thing, our demo, which got us that Ted listened to and loved it. So I remember him calling me one day and he goes, "Hey, you motherfuckers!" I go, "Garth, what are you doing? Are you pissed at me?" He goes, "Fuck you." I go, "Oh my God, are you mad at me, honey?" He goes, "Listen to me. Guess whose record I'm doing?" And I go, "Who?" He goes, "Rage Against the Machine, you prick." And we were laughing so hard, Britt. I go, "I love you. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be rad." He goes, "You know what?" He goes, "They listened to your demo and they said, you're doing our album."
Yeah, he had that big fucking carton of all his pedals and use this is what Rage and BulletBoys uses.
And please, everybody that sees this, we're not making fun of Garth.
No.
No. You don't understand. Garth, if you don't know who Garth is, like I know there's folks out there that work with Garth, I would step in front of a bullet for Garth Richardson. That's how much I love that man.
His best friend was in the studio, and as he would stutter, he would go to Garth. "This is going to be a long one." Like.
And then he'd flip you off real cool and casually. It's so rad.
Good time, but it's definitely when he would have eaten any of us for fucking breakfast.
I was just talking about him to a buddy of mine the other day, and we were talking about Garth, and I said, "Dan, I gotta tell you," and I told him that story about the Rage Against the Machine, right? And he was laughing his ass off, Brett. He goes, "Oh my God, Mark, that's so fucking funny." And I said, "No, he's the reason why, man. We worked so hard with him, and he was so easy to work with and so much fun. He was just brought that fun aspect. And you guys it's gonna happen for you guys. It's gonna be fucking #1 record. I'm telling you right now. We got this. So I would love to work with Garth again. In fact, I'm gonna call him after we do this. Awesome. For real.
You keep talking about the Skinner. Did you see that movie, If I Leave Here Tomorrow? That was a masterpiece. The movie about that.
Dude. Yeah, I teared up on that one. Forget it. Wow.
I went to all the graves last year, just out in Jacksonville. And the Boyhood
I'm a
House,
huge,
that is
huge,
special band.
huge Leonard Skinner fan. In fact, shout out to my very good friend who I love dearly, Mr. Ricky Metlock. Hails, yes,
Oh, I just
sir.
saw them play with
Yes,
Tesla
sir.
when they toured together up here.
Oh, that's the man. I've known Ricky for so many years, and he's always been such an amazing person and friend in my life. Where I can call him up, and even if I haven't talked to him in a couple of years, and get on the phone, and we just start laughing and having a good time. And he's just immensely talented. So definitely shout out to Ricky Metlock. I never get to give him any love, so I love you, Ricky.
Man. And let's talk about your guitar playing, your setup. I mean, you're a master guitar player. I think I saw you a few years ago. You opened, you played a solo, and that was it. And you just fucking like this. It was like level. It was Randy Rhoads level, man. It was
Yes, let's talk about guitar. No, I play guitar all the time. I'm the lead guitar player, rhythm guitar player, and I was playing lead and rhythm, and we switch off, and it's a blast, man. We have a great time. I've been playing guitar all my life since I was a little kid,
did you was
and
there a
that was my thing. You know, I wanted to be the greatest guitar player in the world. You know, when I was really young.
you had to put hours in. You had to put the
Oh,
way you play. There had to be some bedroom time when you were 12 and 13, locked in.
I did nothing but just spin vinyl. That's and tape, just constantly listening to stuff, slowing it down, like literally putting my hand on the album to slow down some riffs, you know. Uh, but yeah, I love playing guitar. I yeah, I'm constantly writing on guitar, constantly playing, trying to come up with a new thing, new riff, or new something that's somebody's not doing. You know, you're just always, always playing. Just gotta always keep on playing.
Do you
That's
have a
how
rig and a guitar you like the most or anything? Is there a setup you like?
you know. Uh, I I'm I I'm playing a Gibson guitar. I'm playing a Gibson. It's a Crown Head. It's a reissued 58,
Okay.
and I've been playing it now for many years. I love it. I don't have too many guitars, Brett. I have like maybe 3 or 4 guitars. That's about it. I don't have a. I'm not a guitar collector. I've never been that, but I would say um, it all depends. Like I really love, like for instance, like on my Les Paul, I'll have a gauge like strings. I'll have tens on there, right? But on my Charvel, I'll have nines. So I jump back and forth. But I when I perform, I play with tens because the tens just sound big. Play it sounds meaty. Whereas nines would sound just a bit more thin. You know.
Yeah.
But with my setup, I'm playing out of EVHs, the new ones. They sound incredible. Um, Running a pretty just mono setup. I usually would run a stereo setup, but I'm just running a mono right now. My pedals aren't, I don't use that many pedals. I always think it's in the hands. So everything's, in the hands. I have a tuner, um, a older Ed Van Halen Phase 90 pedal, and I have an old pedal that I always use because it was given to me by somebody special. And you probably know who it is, but it's an old micro amp, and I don't know why I use it, but it just has this sound, man, and it's just something that it doesn't create any. It just almost like a compressor, but not. It gives you that little bit of sustain and that little bit more, but in a clean way. And I have that in my setup. So if there's an amp and it doesn't sound good, I'll crank that up, push that on, and it sounds incredible. So I don't even know if they make them anymore, but that's what I
Can I
that's
ask
what I
who
use.
gave it to you? Can I ask who is it? Who I think?
Sorry,
Who could I ask who gave it to you? I'm thinking EVH or no?
I just keep it secret for right now. It's a little something that I like to keep, kind of in
And
my back pocket.
I like it. And
But
speaking
it's
of
something
like,
that's very special to me. It's all banged up, and
I
you
love
know, and I was just like, when I got it, I was like, you got to be kidding. It's like, no, I'm telling you, use this. It works really good.
Speaking of, it's funny that you do think, I love how Hollywood, when I got there, you end up playing on the house amps. You know, in Jersey, you bring your amp. I love that there's amps
Yeah.
in the clubs. You just roll. You like that, or I like it actually.
No, I like when you bring your own amp and let's say if there's cabs there, cool, but bring your head, man. Hey, boom. That's like, it's like old school. It's like gunslinger style. I don't
Speak,
know. Like sometimes the amps that they have in some of these places, they've been played through so much. There's just like, yikes.
yeah. I know you were already rolling at this time, but did you ever do any coconut teaser time? I know you guys were already mega by the time it was pretty rolling. Did you ever do any coconut teaser time?
You know what? I think we might have played there once when we first before we were signed. I love the coconut teaser, dude. It was rad there.
It's a fun
And then
hang, right?
oh gosh, that place was a party every night. You kidding me?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
because they had the carvings, which were horrible, but they had built-in.
Oh, you remember that with the little EQs on them too?
Yeah. And then
Oh,
the
not good.
Carvin store, right
I'm
down by
sorry,
the car center, Carvin store next to Elkin Pod.
you put an attenuator on one of those that were power soaked, that thing would sound great.
Really?
Oh, blow it up, but it would just fry the transformer, but it sounded really good. Trust me, I've tried it.
Where was you when did you start going to Hollywood and hanging as a kid? Did you where were you hanging out when you started making the trek? It's so romantic to me to make that trek in there because where I grew,
I
you
would
didn't
take
really go to New York City.
yeah.
When did you start crossing the hill?
When I was 16, I would take the bus into Hollywood.
Give me a night. Give me a night with Mark in Hollywood at 16.
I would go get dropped off on the bus, and back in the day it was the RTD.
Yes,
Okay,
I took the RTD. Yeah.
yeah. Catch the RTD from out here from Montebello. Take that all the way into downtown, all the way up until it gets you to Sunset, and then Sunset would go off, and then I don't know, I can't remember, like get dropped off in Hollywood, right on Hollywood Boulevard, walk around there for a minute, a couple pals, whoever that came with me, and then we would go up to Sunset, to the Strip, and we would hang out at Gazzari's. That's where we would hang. We'd go
Sorry.
there and sit on the wall. There was this wall
Yeah,
in
I
front.
remember the wall.
Yeah, dude. And we would sit there and just, be like, ooh, just tripping on everybody and just like, wow. And then, when you always would see people. I would see like Chris Holmes and like Blackie Lawless. It's like, oh shit. They're all scary. So just, that's what I did. And then we find a way to get home or, hey, what are you guys doing? You going to come and hang out with us? And yeah, some, whatever, some girls or some friends of ours. And, they'd end up giving us a ride back. But yeah, I remember that getting on the RTD. Absolutely.
I used to
That's what I
have
did.
Santa Monica because where we lived on Bronson, it didn't run down Sunset till midnight or whatever. But
Yes, it didn't. So you'd have to catch a ride with somebody. Yeah.
some guy from A&E was calling me about this thing he's doing about the clubs and the Strip back in the day, and I actually had to tell him, you'll probably agree, more was going outside of the clubs on the Strip. I don't remember going in as much as, like you say, like the walls and down by the car dealership. It was outside. You know what I
No,
mean?
totally. And I was so young, you couldn't get in the club. So I mean, I don't know how many times they would try to get into Starwood, and it would never happen. They would just no, get out of here. You don't have an ID, get. But then you'd see like some really hot girls, and they let them right in. I'm like,
Totally.
what's going on,
Just
man? Why can't we get in? But look at those beautiful girls that you just let in. Okay, we got to figure this shit out, guys.
I think that happened to me, and it would drive me insane. Like even the teaser, I would climb over that gated thing on Laurel Canyon and just get thrown out and climb back in, or exposure. I would
Totally,
It's like because
totally,
the girl you
yeah.
like was in there hitting us like some guy from was going to hit. No, I'm going to get in and get thrown out again. But I think that's what made Axel such a rabid animal, because it was just when you read, little tidbits of what he says, you get pissed, man. Being a little dude, I remember like Prince is asking the girl I'm hitting on at Black and Blue to dance. Like, how do I compete with that at 18? I want to kill somebody.
It was insane, LA. It was back then, man. It was just for real, dog eat dog. It's you better be good, and you better in the clubs that you played, and you better come in there getting ready to, if anybody talks any smack about you, you better get ready to throw it down, like for real,
Yeah.
for real. I can't tell you how many fist fights the Bullet Boys had. We just walk into places and people looked at us wrong, and it was on.
Yeah.
I don't know, there was a lot of drinking and a lot of chemical refreshment back then, but it put your mind in a whole other state. But we were very much like the four of us, like a little gang.
I heard that about you because that happened with our man. Because I was from Jersey, and if someone called you something, a thrasher, you just fought him. But a lot of people talked in Hollywood but couldn't back it up. I heard you guys, Vince Neil, there were certain guys that could just take care of themselves and weren't just little pussies.
Yes, sir. Yeah, when you grow up playing in the hard clubs and you're playing with punk rock bands and rock and roll bands and all these different people they would throw on one bill, you got to learn right away. That's this the Badlands, man. Don't let anybody push you around. And I remember I would always, it would always be like something, and I'll bring this up because it's kind of funny, but you know, the original guys, we walk into some place and like I just said, and people would say something, we let it go for a little while, but then I'd always see Jimmy would come and go, "Hey, bro, I'm not really feeling this right now, man." And you see him take off his jacket, like really nice too, take it off, and I said, "Oh shit, it's gonna be on right now," you know. Then I'd see Lonnie's eyes, and he's like looking around, and he's getting ready to just go off. So yeah, people would come up and just they would try to facilitate trying to see if you were a badass or not, and you know, we would go out there and make sure to let people know that not only we were bad, but we were badass.
Yeah.
Don't
Well,
fuck with
Montebello was probably tougher than Hollywood, right? Probably
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Jersey was tougher than Hollywood. I thought Hollywood would be so bad. Like these stories, Montebello is probably tougher than Hollywood. Hollywood's
Yeah,
kids.
it was different times though. It was way different times there. And you have to you just you have to walk the talk, man, and you have to be that person. And if you weren't that person, it's you people would know it and go like, oh, this guy, he's not the real deal. I remember hanging out with Axel and the fellas when we first got signed, and or even before that, hanging out at the Cat House together and stuff. And it was just like we would always have those chats, like man, we gotta make it. What else are we gonna do? I know. Well, we got this thing, and we wrote this new thing, and and I just got to say this. I just want to proclaim my love to Axel and Mr. Rhodes. I just love him so much. Um, I
Amazing.
haven't seen him in many
Never saw
years,
that happen.
but growing up on playing together on the Sunset Strip and whatever what have you in that time was they'd always come out and see us, and we'd always go out and see them. And I just love the band, and I love Saul Slash, excuse me, and Duff, and you know uh, all the fellas. But I really, to see Axel, I'm so proud of him that he's out there doing what he's doing. He sang with AC/DC. He's out there every night giving it everything that he has. And those songs are not a walk through the park, my brother. That's
Oh,
that's some tough singing. So I mean, completely, I applaud him. Hats off to my brother, and a lot of love sent out to Axl Rose.
and
Love
like
him.
you, what a masterpiece, the Chinese democracy. Obviously, we know Appetite and User, but the Chinese democracy, he is so ambitious. He gets
Yes,
such a bad rap, and he is when you listen to the solo albums, I'm sorry, you see where the ambition is in that band.
yes, absolutely. He's driven. He has vision.
Yeah.
Um, no matter if it's not somebody else's vision, he has vision, and that is what it's all about. You have to have the vision to create and to create magic. And yeah, he's a magical soul, and his voice is still amazing to me performing. I love watching him on some of the vids. I haven't gone to see them live. I would love to, but I see them on some of the vids, and he looks so happy, and that's the best thing when you can see an artist and they look legitimately happy when they're performing.
Yeah, and seeing him at the Lisa Marie Presley, God bless her, but that was wild. Seeing him just,
Yeah.
piano.
I just saw him singing with Carrie Underwood here recently on YouTube. Man, they sounded great.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
sounded great. It was so rad.
just a magic. Yeah, that band is magic to me.
Well, maybe one of these days I would love to sing with Axel. I'll tell you what, I'd be the first one out there. I would love to open up for Guns N' Roses. I know a million other bands would, but I would love that opportunity to open up for Guns N' Roses. I would do everything in my heart to bring it for real, for real. And I think my band would do pretty damn well with that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I love Guns N'
What's
Roses,
the
man.
last show you went to that you love? What's the last concert you really got moved by that you went to?
Wow. It was a couple years back, but I would say definitely Queens of the Stone Age and Eagles of Death Metal.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really,
Uh,
really
yes.
kept the rock flame alive.
Josh Homme is a genius to me, and just his words and his lyrics really touch me. Um, and and of course Jesse, who is a very very brotherly close friend of mine. I love him so dearly. Eagles of Death Metal is like one, if not my fave. I love Jesse. I love their music. It puts me in a state of getting up and dance and having fun. Um, where you just kind of forget about your troubles, But yeah, that was the last concert, I think, and it's a couple of years back, but that really was like, wow, like I'm sitting there watching it, and it was just amazing. And both bands sounded incredible, and they're just so down to earth and so kind and so sweet. I think that's the most. I would also say that um, Taylor Hawkins, may he rest in paradise, when he was playing with the Foos, they were doing the Forum years back before COVID, and it was the girl that I was with at the time. It was her birthday, so he got us really rad tickets to come and see the band and everything. And I just got to tell you, the Foo Fighters are just, man. It was an incredible, incredible concert. That sounded so amazing to hear and to see the passion that David has. David Grohl's passion is just unreal when he's on
Yes.
stage. It's just like he puts it all out. He's a ball of sweat. Taylor's a ball. They're all sweat, putting it out there, right? Song after song, 2 hour sets and stuff. And I love the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
And I love Taylor very much because he was a big, big fan of the BulletBoys.
Right. You recorded the studio and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. We got invited by the amazing David Grohl, who I love. I get kind of emotional when I think about it because I was struggling really hard to get the band in, for people to believe in the stuff in the album that I wrote, which was From Out of the Skies, and together with the fellas. And I presented some music to Lou, who is the main engineer there. And I said, is there any way we can come in and do the drums there? And he said, wow, the guy with the beard, that guy, if he says it's good, we're good. So I was like, oh, what do you think? Do you think he's going to like it? He's going, I think he'll really like it. So sure enough, he listens to the demos that we're doing, and he loved it. So Lou calls us and he says, hey, Dave says you're in. I was like, no way. So he's like, yep. I was like, oh shit, yeah. So we got into 606, and Taylor set all the drums that they record their records with, all of them, so we could record on that drum set. And it was just magical, man. Like the very first, dude, come here, blah, 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 blah. Dude, look, you gotta check out the drums. I pull out the kit, dude, that we record with, dude. Come on, man, dude, check this out. I go, oh my god, I'm like tripping, right? Because he goes into, I think it was Money or something.
Oh.
Listen to that, man. Fuck. I'm laughing and I'm grabbing him, right? I go, stop it. It's amazing. He goes, dude. So then he started explaining to me how they took months, him and David, to pick each drum out to create this Frankenstein drum set that they record their records with.
Yeah.
So that was just an amazing experience. And then I had never met David. And one night I was sitting in the lobby area, and there's a door that goes out to the parking lot. So I think it was like the second day we were there, and it was kind of late at night, and the door comes swinging open, Brett, like just like crazy, bang. He walks in and he stands and he goes, I fucking know you. And I was like, right away, I got kind of worried. I was like, is he pissed at me? I was like, I kind of know you, but I don't. So he kind of runs over to me, goes, but now you do. And he hugged me and picked me up. Oh, dude. I tears came to my eyes, dude. I was just like, fuck. He started crying a little bit too. He goes, you know how long I've been wanting to meet you? He goes, my whole band knows you, but I've never met you. I go, but now we have. So it was really He was just
They
so
might
lovely
live
and
in all
kind
these
and
different worlds. They're in all these
so
different worlds.
uplifting. And, he's like, you're supposed to be here. Listen to me. You are supposed to be here. Come with me. So he goes, he showed me through this, we started walking through the studio and we were looking at the photos and these killer, amazing photos that they have of the foods and on and what have you. And he goes, and he tells me after that, he goes, I've been wanting to talk to you in story about something, and then, he goes, well, first of all, what's your favorite picture here? And I go, that one right here. And the picture, what's about this big, right?
Mhm.
And he goes, that's my favorite too. He goes, why? It's just a picture of Kurt playing guitar, but it's like this really rad little photo, right? And he goes, why? I go, because you can feel the energy from it. He goes, I fucking love you, dude. Yeah, you get it, right? So then he's like, starts telling me the story about that he lived in the apartment complex. Well, first of all, he asked me, he goes, did you live in North Hollywood, like, for a while? And I said, yeah. He goes, did you live off a street called Satsuma? And I went, yeah. And he goes, dude, I lived in the apartment complex right next to you when I first started the booze. I said, get the fuck out of here. No way. Right? So he goes, yep.
Wow.
And so he was telling me about all these stories about our kind of like, what is it, 6 degrees of separation or what have you. I don't know exactly what it is, but it was so interesting. In fact, he actually told me that he rented a house and lived in Montebello for a little while, and they rehearsed there, recorded, and he rented a house like for like a year out here.
That's
And
insane.
I was just blown away, man. He was just like so rad and just so, he's just a ball of energy and a ball of, constant thought, you know, and
You're still
that's
getting pinch me moments at this far in. That's why you keep going, right? There's just that had to be a pinch me moment. You know what I mean?
oh, totally. I've been so blessed, Brett, by, listen, I've never achieved the status of the Guns N' Roses or the big giant bands. I get it. I
You
know.
got pretty big. You are pretty big, and you have some timeless songs that are
Oh,
played every day.
thank you. But, you go like, wow, I've worked with the Temptations, with Rick James, with the great legend Smokey Robinson in Motown. Junior Walker blew horn on my record. I mean, these cats that I've worked with, the real Holland Holland, the writers from Motown that I got to meet and sit down and write with, um, the great Barry Gordy, who I got the chance to chat with them, I don't know how many times. And then at Warner Brothers, the great Mo Austin, who signed us, Lenny Waronker, um, Ted Templeman, his sister Roberta Peterson, who signed us, Jane's Addiction, all these different people. The musicians that I've been around my whole career has been, when I look back on it, you're just like, God, dude, you got so fortunate and so lucky that you were able to hang with these rad musicians at such a young age that molded you to do what you needed to do and to achieve what your band and to do your thing.
Well, your talent definitely, the voice and the songwriting got you part of a
Oh,
big,
thank you.
big conversation. That's why you're invited to the conversation. Anybody that talks about you, just wow. I mean, there's not many dudes that are like you, and there's not many dudes that I don't,
Oh,
if
thank
any,
you,
that have
man.
the voice that's held up and the physicality that's held up.
Oh, thank you, brother. Yeah, I really do try to take good care of myself. And, you got to look sexy if you're going to be up doing this, man.
So I got one last question, unless there's anything you want to bring up. What you were
Yes,
talking about going to the
one
forum.
real quick thing, and I always do not, and I have to do this, and I
Oh, do
forget
it, do it,
every
do it.
time I do an interview.
Love it.
Shout out to the person and my mentor who brought me into this business, and that is Greg Jeffria from Angel. Greg Jeffria took me took me by the shoulder and brought me in to this business. Brett, when I was playing in my high school band at the Troubadour, and we're chatting about this on the phone the other day. Doug Weston brought us in, had a big meeting with Doug Weston. That's another cat, that really saw my talent, told me that you are immensely talented. You just don't know how much you are, and I want you to play my club, and we're going to put you on a Wednesday, blah 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 blah. So when I met Greg, we were rehearsing in this place called Rosemary's Baby Studio. It was in the deep, deep valley. And Carmine Appice was rehearsing there with Timmy Bogart. Ronnie James Dio was rehearsing there. Missing Persons was rehearsing there. And Angel was rehearsing there with, the real Angel, Punky Meadows, Barry Brandt, Frank Domino, and here's this 3-piece band from Montebello called Marq Torien rehearsing in this room. that we shouldn't even been in, but my bass player knew the owner of the place, right? One of those things. So one day Greg came walking into a rehearsal and he says, "Who's singing?" I said, "I am." He goes, "Do what you just did." Just and we're so scared when they came walking in, man. It's like, oh my God, so we start doing this thing and he goes, "Stop. Your voice is incredible. How old are you?" And I said, I'm 16, and he's like, "You gotta be kidding me." I said, "No." It's like, "Dude, it's so nice to meet you." And he's like, "Really cool." And I was enamored with, their stardom, and they were so kind to me. And when are you guys playing? I'm going to bring some people to come and see you play. They were like, "Oh, cool." So we're playing at the Troubadour on a Wednesday or whatever. And he goes, "Done. I'm bringing some people. I want to bring some friends to see you. Is that okay?" So one of the first shows that we did, or the second show that we did there on a Wednesday night, he brings his friends. Well, guess who his friends are? Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, Rick Derringer.
Oh my God. Insane. Wow. I didn't know it was Greg.
Is that insane? Like, and here we are, and there's my mom's even at the show, and there's Gene Simmons talking to my mom while we're playing. I go, what is this? Is like he would bring these incredible musicians to come and see me play just so he could get me involved, and they could, and they were always, all about it. They, chatted with me after, and I'm just there like in a completely state of mind of like, oh, I can't believe I'm standing here right now, so definitely Greg Jeffrey, a shout out to Greg. I never get to tell people exactly who brought me into this thing and who introduced me to everybody and how I got the gig with, with Ozzy Osbourne. It was Greg. Greg introduced me to Ozzy and Sharon. But he was always there for me and brought me into the business, man. For real, for real.
That's huge. And he's had a crazy second act. He like runs Las Vegas now, right? Huge.
Oh, he's a billionaire.
Yeah, huge second act.
He's so gigantic. I can't even talk to him anymore.
It's obvious someone can succeed.
I love him so much, though, man. I talked to him about a couple of years ago, and he goes, "Hey, what's going on?" We're just chatting, right? And he's just talking to me the same way, just picking fun at me and stuff. I love him, man. He's just so awesome. But shout out to him. Hopefully he hears this and goes, "Okay, that SOB finally gave me the credit that I deserve."
Great. I love it, man. And Hollywood, just you talking about Doug and those type of guys that were like that. What a magical place and weird place as you're become, you're going to 18 to 20 to whatever age you are. I got there at 18. It's weird. Dream makers, sleazy people. Like you're just trying to.
It was really weird. It's like, oh man.
What's this?
But you either got involved in it and started hanging out in it, or you weren't going to make it, man.
Yeah.
I thank God that, even with all the weirdness that I stayed true to, who I am and to my faith and to my family. And the people knew that I wasn't, that I was in it for the, to create music.
Wait, a lot.
Bunch of crazy things. Of course, we all went into the alcohol and the chemical refreshment and what have you, and blah 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 blah. But I was very fortunate to realize that where I was grounded at and sobered up, and I've been sober for close to 28 years now. So that's been a thing that I'm most happy about. Especially there's a lot of us that that continued on with drugs and alcohol and everything else, and I thank God that I was able to say, I'm not doing this anymore, put myself in the hospital. I had people around me, the great Bobby Timmons, may he rest in paradise. Bobby Timmons was I have to talk about Bob a little bit, just a quick one. It's hard. I'd be here all day, but Bob Timmons was an amazing cat that was in AA and CA and got a lot of us to figure ourselves out and to help us get into sobriety. So I love him very much, and I miss him.
That's why, because it was everybody. You talk about Iggy Pop, all these people. There's danger. Everybody that we love, there's an element of danger to this. We're not taught. I mean, there is an element of danger where we were, and so make it. And
I love it.
You look at Tammy. Tammy came out the other end. I mean, it was getting rough there, and he's been sober and just
I'm so proud of him. I love him so. the
Yeah.
mayor of Hollywood. I'm so proud of him. Shout out to
Totally,
Tate.
right?
Absolutely. I applaud him. What a strong and badass. He's just a badass.
Just put
Love him.
out one of his best songs too in like the
Yeah,
13th inning. He's still putting out great music that
dude, sound amazing, right? So rad.
love that song. It's
Yes.
as good as anything he's put out. You know, I mean, it's he's you know, like you, it's just warriors, rock warriors.
Real cats, right, Brett?
Rick Cats, we know what it is. You know what it is. I mean, you get that's why I love it. We talk about California chili pepper. There's just things, they're intangible things, but they make sense, but they're well, they're
I
hard.
think, yes, hold on, hold on.
What?
I just lost you for a second. And I think it's because my phone's dying.
Okay, we'll wrap it up. I want to ask one thing. When you walk through somewhere like the Forum, you're talking about the Foo Fighters, and you also told me stories about Van Halen taking you there in 70s or 80s. Isn't it weird, these places in Hollywood that you've walked through being so many different people at the end of the day and all these different lives you've lived?
Oh my gosh, yeah, it really is. Hold on, I need to fix this for a second. Hold on just for a second, okay?
Stop it just we're back. We were talking about all the different people you've been at these same buildings, whether it's a Viper Room or the Forum, the different versions of ourselves. We've walked through all these doors. You know, it's crazy, right?
Oh, it's completely insane. I'm so lucky I've been able to do it and to stick around all these years and to have such amazing fans, though, you know, Britt, that are still coming to the shows, and you know, I love them so much. So you know, it's a lifestyle. It isn't just something that you can come in and just say, oh, I'm gonna come in for a little bit and do my thing and then I'm out. Some people do it, but I'm more of a lifestyle guy. It's always about music.
Well, I would call it a lifer. I love you for
Yes,
being a lifer, and thank you from all of us for all the music and joy you brought us. I can't wait to see more shows and bring more people. And just from that first, you were one of those bands when the first note gets hit, it just lights you up, man. You light it up, and you're a musician, you're an electricity conductor, you're everything. And we love you for it, Mark. And say
oh,
goodbye
thank you, Britt.
to
I
everybody
love
and
you too.
hang out so I can say goodbye.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I love you guys so much. Cheers.